everyone, and welcome to the episode. As you probably already know by the title, it's on the rear suspension. Now that back end on the car on my model there isn't going to be the one that I'm using. I'm still slowly working away, trying lots of different designs until I'm slowly homing in, getting closer on what I want. Now, this model here is showing that the rear suspension works quite similar to the front, rocking through a rear bell crank and giving us a progressive spring rate. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about how it'll come together because I will later in the video, but the aim here is to get this thing rolling on its own without having to be propped up, because we have to move. We've actually sold and bought a new house, so it needs to be able to be wheeled on a trailer and taken away. So by the end of this episode, hopefully we're at that stage.
So now I have these parts all lined up here. Now what's happening here is, this is the pivoting part, this is the spindle to, I've got Otis here. Odie, this is the new member of the team. Otis, who's licking my face. He's hanging out, helping me today. Ruby is about as well, like normal, but I think she's just out the door at the moment. So, what do you reckon? Back to work? Yeah. So, this piece here is going to sort of sit in here and pivot off that push rod that I've made. And the shock is going to mount down there and up into here and pivot like that, hopefully. So this is the wee spindly thing I've made. There's a shoulder on the inside there and a shoulder on the outside for the plates to pull up against. That's got to be pushed in there. That's just sitting sort of semi in the hole at the moment. And that's the pieces to divide the two plates. And that there is going in there like that. Now I haven't actually got springs to these because, well, kind of. I have the springs in these front ones, but I'm going to use them in the back and just check the weight of the spring. So the spring rate on this spring, I might have to go a little bit heavier because the motor's in the back, or it might be sweet and I might have to go a little bit lighter on the front. So I'm just going to hold off buying the other springs. I can pretty much get them overnight anyway. So I'll just hold off on getting them until I've got this sorted and I know sort of roughly where it needs to be. So, yep, I'm going to get into it now and start mocking this up anyway. Now I've got one side in as a bit of a mock-up. I wanted to check a few things out before I sort of finally weld it and started doing the other side, just in case I wanted to change anything. There was one slight change I made, which I just had to grind a touch more off up under here to give the bell crank a bit more clearance so it can bottom out. And I'm pretty happy with how it's going. That's not the actual bolt. We're not going to use a bolt in there. There's a pin that I've made, but it's just easier to slide that pin in and out. So I'll sort that soon. And to see the action working, I'll drop the vise off. Sorry, not the vise, the jack off. Just ignore the squeaking. So that was pretty quick. But now I'll jack her up slower and you can sort of see it rocking through. There's a little bit of leverage acting upon it there. Yeah, drop it back down again. So I'm pretty happy with the way that's moving. And now I'm gonna grab the other side, sort it out, do a bit more welding on it, and then pull the shocks off the front with the springs on them, pop them in the back. Then I can drop the back of the car down and check that spring rate. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to get it to that point, and I'm just going to crack on and get it done. So me and Jake have been busy. We've just got the 2 shocks in, obviously. We had to go backwards a little bit before we go forwards, because down here the angle of this wasn't matching the angle of this, and that was because it was profile cut, but then I had cut the angle in the slot, and it didn't take much, but I had it just slightly not enough on one side, on that one, which was meaning this side here was in the perfect spot, and we just couldn't get that one right, so we mucked around for a while. Now we've finally got them matching and looking really good. So it's pretty lightly tacked together, so I'm a little bit nervous that something's just going to go when I drop it down, but let's drop it down and see how it goes. Make sure all the axis is out.
Dog's not underneath.
Dog's not underneath. Sweet. So it's using, I'd have to check what sag is actually on that suspension. It's looking like it's using quite a lot. I can add in some preload to get rid of that, or I could go for a heavier shock. I am not quite sure yet. I'm going to have to play around with that and see what happens. So now, I'm moment of truth to see if it breaks. That's looking good.
As you can see, Jake and I then stripped everything off the car just to do those final welds where things were hard to get to, doing a little bit of extra bracing underneath in the rear subframe and stuff whilst it was upside down or on its side to make it a lot easier. And then we had to put it all back together, put it on the trailer, and it's off to its new place. Thanks for watching, everyone. It's awesome that some of the videos are now starting to get a few views. So thanks if that's you. If you're new to the channel, go back, watch the old ones, and I'll have plenty more videos coming out in the near future. See you soon.